Hi, I'm Kwan. In this video, I'm going to share with you on how we can use Timify add-on with Google Forms and Google Classroom for online quizzes, examination, and assessments. There are a lot of questions revolving how to effectively create and conduct quizzes, examination, and assessment online. So some of the frequently asked questions include things like, can I create a test for my students online? Can I schedule my tests in advance? Can I assess my students' work and have the results recorded automatically? Is there any way I can restrict submission of the test to only my students? Can I limit only one attempt by each student? And can I set a time limit for my online test? Well, great news! All of this can be easily done through the usage of Google Classroom and also Google Forms. So basically, by using this combination of these two tools, you'll be able to perform all of this at ease. Well, in this video, I'm going to focus a little bit more on this portion where can we actually set a time limit for online test. So again, the answer is yes. So with the help of additional add-on for Google Form called Timify. So basically the whole idea is still using these two, Google Forms and Google Classroom, but with an additional add-on of Timify. So what is Timify? As mentioned earlier, Timify is basically an add-on for Google Forms. So basically, you are still using your the usual Google Form to create questions, quizzes, and answer schemes, just with an extra help from the add-on called Timify. Okay, so Timify is basically a very useful tool to enhance the functionality of Google Form in managing online exams and assessments. There are quite a number of very cool features from Timify. So if you were to add on Timify to your Google Form, you will be able to add a timer to your Google Forms. So I mean to say, after creating your Google Forms, and when the students start clicking the link and go into the form, they will actually start counting down for the students. So I mean to say, if let's say you have a limit of maybe 1 hour, so they will actually start count down for the students. So everyone will be fairly assessed in that case. On top of that, you'll be able to track submission time of your respondents. So basically, the system will actually generate a summary of the submission details for you. Timify also come with very special features where they can track respondents' identities throughout the assessment. So they have this function with camera tracking. So basically, they can actually enable the camera when the student is sitting for the examination. But this is only available for premium version. And some other additional feature, including like branding your form with custom logo, text, and color. But again, for this is only available for premium feature as well. Well, despite the absence of the premium features for Timify, the basic account, in my opinion, is already more than sufficient. So to start, first you go to your browser and open up G Suite Marketplace and search for Timify. .me. Okay, so alternatively you can either you do a Google search and look for timify.me, or you can just click on the link below. All right, so next it will prompt you to install, so you just click install. So you will see this pop-up message asking you, saying that you get ready to install. So what you need to do is just click next, continue. So in this page, they will prompt you to log in using your account. So for us, just use your MMU account. So just click G Suite account and key in your password. and click Next. So once you're on this page, they will say that they need to access your account because they need to access your file. So you just have to click Allow. So once you install, you will be prompted with this message saying that has been installed. So next, just complete the additional setup. So basically, after you click this, it will lead you to the sign-in page for Timify. So before you can start using Timify, you have to sign in an account first. So you have the options to use the email, or I would suggest you to sign in using your Google account. So you can just pick the one that the account, then later on just sign in using your official email address, and you will reach this place, then fill them up. So after filling up your details, you'll be able to get your token. So basically, you can start using your Google form right now. So you can just open any of your Google Forms or your examination, quiz, or any test. So you can just, of course, in this case, I have my questions already set up for my students. So before I assigning to it, I need it to set a time limit for the students. So first, you will see there's some additional thing on top of your, on the right-hand corner. So in this case, you will be seeing the add-ons over here. So you just click on here, and the Timify app would be over here. So you just click on it. So you have the options to configure. So you just press configure. So after pressing configure, you shall be able to see a small box on the bottom right corner. So in this case, right, you will have to copy and paste the token that is in your Timify account just now. So in order to retrieve the token, so you just go back to the timify.me web page, log in using your account. Then you just have to just copy and paste. So in this case, you can just copy and paste your token and paste it over here. All right, and connect. Okay. And next, just click on Enable Add-on for this form. So after clicking Enable, you should be able to get this information. So basically, they will add submission ID field. So it's very important. So normally it will appear at the bottom. So just make sure to inform your student not to do any editing. So to prevent that, you can either just remind your students not to edit this field, or just create another section just to avoid they just click on change the ID by accident. So they need this to submit. So after creating your tests or quizzes in the Google form and had the settings linked to Timify, so you just go back to Timify webpage and go back to the dashboard, and you shall be able to see the list of quizzes that you have created. So in order to do some changes, like for instance, I can do some adjustment over here by clicking Create Test. So over here, then you can just start typing or copy and paste the email of your students. So unfortunately, they don't have the options to actually pick or actually export in bulk, but not to worry, you can just go to your Excel list, get all your students' email address, copy and paste. So after clicking, you shall be able to see the list of your students over here. So they will have individual unique URL. Okay, like for instance, for this particular students, they will have this particular URL. So everyone will have their unique identification. So to differentiate among the students. So of course, it may be tedious if let's say you have a long list of students. So they have an option to actually send a test for you. But unfortunately, this one is only limited to 50 students each time. So for premium packages, then there will be a different number. But for free account like this, there's a limitation. But not to worry, you can actually just convert that into a mailing list. Okay, so then you can email and notify your students. So once you click for mailing list, you'll be able to see the Excel file over here. So it will be created and exported to the Excel. So next, you can send this link to your student, this unique code, through email or any messengers, or you can go to your Google Classroom and create as part of the assignment. So you can create as part of the assignment, like for instance, then you just attach the link over here. Okay. So in this case, the student that will be recognized as part of the student. So and don't forget, there's an option to pick the students. So like for instance, this is for this person. So you just click on it. Then the person who received this would be the only one who can access the link. If you think that sending the unit link to individual students is very tedious, there's another option where they give you the options to create a link, public form link. So you can copy this link and share with your student as well. But the downside of having this link is that anybody can actually link it. So they may access it using different email accounts. So I may not be recommending this option that much, okay, as compared to in unique ID, but it depends on the size of your class. So yeah, it's up to you. For students to start an examination, all they need to do is just copy and paste the link they have, or click from the link they receive in the email or from the Google Classroom. Just enter, then it will lead you to the student to this particular page. So like for instance, on this page, they will be prompted that this examination is going to last only for 20 minutes. So they have to make sure that they are getting ready first before opening the form, because once it is open, the timer will be actually started, and it will be actually just continue even without any attempt. So let's open the form. So when they open the form will be very similar to the normal Google form, except for there's something on top here is the timer. Okay, so since this particular quiz or examination is actually capped at 20 minutes, so they will actually start counting down from the time that you actually click on it. Okay, so the student, they will have their individual link, and they will be directed to this particular page, and they will enter their email address, their full name, ID, up to you, and those are the questions. Okay, so one particular note to take is that please remind them not to touch the last question, because the last question here is not actually a question, but it's a unique submission ID. So every student, if you are using the individual unique link, they will have their unique submission ID to differentiate them. So for instance, you just have to just submit, attempt it. Okay, just for demonstration. So I'll just do some quick demonstration. So you just answer the questions accordingly. Okay, something like this. Okay, then we just submit. Okay. Right, so just make sure they will be prompted if they have any missing data. So you just have to submit. Okay, and they say that your responses have been submitted. Okay, and pretty much done. So once the student have submitted their form, so of course we need to get the feedback and do the grading according to their work. So how to retrieve this? You can just go back to Timify, the dashboard, and this is just for example. Like for instance, these are the list of students who have already completed the test. So they will actually show you the different information over here. So they will tell you whether or not they have finished on time, when they have started, when they have finished, and there's one particular, or then they will prompt you on which student actually exceeded the time and things like that. Okay, so sometimes you will see something like not focus. Not focus means to say this is one cool way of Timify to keep track of how focused the student is during the examination. So if let's say you go in and out the tab while you're doing that, so it will actually prompt us that they actually go out for how many times. So it's could be one of the indicator to track if the student actually referred to some other materials which they are not supposed to, if any. All right, so to get all the responses, there are a few ways. First, you can go to click here. You can export the result here. So, and just click on for analytics, and the file will be actually downloaded at here. Okay, so you just click on it. So yeah, this is the summary. They will tell you unfocused how many times and things like that. Okay, what is the score in Excel file. Okay, so but this is only the summary. But if you want to get detailed one, you can go to view form. So it will lead you to this particular page. So again, just make sure that you go to your edit mode. So in that case, then you can see that you can see all the responses here. So all the responses, they will tell you how many have already done. So it will be recorded. So what is the frequently missed questions, the scores for all each individuals. Okay. So, and there are many options that you can actually keep track how many questions based on questions or yeah, individuals. So another thing is that of course the simplest is that you export it to your Excel, so you can have all the information over here. So including the score, everything will be recorded. That will be easier for you for tracking. Google Form allow MCQ and also structured questions, so it depending on how you actually create your question. So the good thing about multiple choice question is that they can do the marking automatically for you. But if let's say for structured questions, you may have to do the marking by yourself, or you can program it accordingly. Then another thing is that for marking, you can probably just and of course if let's say you want to release the score to your students, then how you can do that, you can actually just release the score. There's an option to do that. Or if you choose not to release the score, you can actually keep track of the score by yourself here. So basically no marking would be necessary if you have done all the marking scheme earlier. So like for instance, if let's say you have already have all the answer key recorded earlier, how many marks and which one is the correct options. If you have set all of this earlier, the answer key, allocate the marks, points, and the feedback. The feedback is actually, of course, is optional, so up to you and based on the question itself. So yeah, you can actually have these options, but you have to set this up first for automatic assessment. Okay, so once you have that, releasing a score or you to notify the student how well they are doing is very easy. So it's just a click away. So you just have to just click on this release score, and it will actually prompt you those are the students, okay, the respondent for this particular test. So what you need to do, you can just send email and release the result. Okay, so all students, they will have the email, receive the email about how well they do the scores. So just for example, how the student can view their scores. So they can just check on their email and they will prompt them how many marks they have. So if let's say for instance 3 out of 10, so they can view their score and see what's wrong, what is the correct answer, what is not. So when they click, they will have all this answer scheme with them if you want to release it to them. So it depends on the situation, depends on the context and purpose of the quiz or exam or test. So basically the student will be notified about their scores and how well they are doing if you pick this option. So I do hope that this particular app, Timify, is going to be helpful for your online exam and assessment, and how you can incorporate it with your Google Form and also Google Classroom. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.